Greetings and welcome back to another one of ATER's Down and Dirty tutorials. This one here is going to cover basics of batteries, solar panels, how to hook them up, how to get them to where you want them, and this is going to be using a mod. And I'm going to lie to you about it. A lot of people, I don't want to use a mod or a script or whatever. But we're going to go over this real quick. I highly recommend the Azimuth Mega Mod Pack for whatever builds you're doing. These batteries have a lot more power than most. I'm going to take a quick look at them. They must be welded to your station like any other battery. So if you're not familiar with it, this is going to be quick. These batteries have a stored power limit of 9 megawatts. So you need a lot of batteries if you're going to be running stuff. You also need a lot of solar panels. I also recommend M-Master's automatic LCDs too. It does require a timer and a programmable block. But M-Masters allows you to put up LCDs and retrieve all kinds of useful information. This one here is set up to retrieve information, how much I have in reactors, solar power, and how much my batteries have stored, what my input and output are, and about how much time my station can continue to run. Now this is kind of off because I have docked ships out there with X20 arc reactors. There's also an X20 arc reactor for the station itself and one large reactor. As you can see, that's a docked ship there. There's a docked ship above us, and there is a docked ship under construction with an arc reactor in it. So kind of give you that right now. Okay, your batteries are mounted to your station. And what I have done, I have a tether going up about 2 kilometers to a docking station for ships that don't do well in gravity. Now what I did, this tether is connected all the way to the station. And what I did here, whoops, sorry about that, and get my orientation back. I went the wrong way, folks. I was supposed to go that way. Now, as you can see, I came off of the light armor tether. Now it has conveyor tubes going all the way up to blocks and things like that as I built this tether, and there are weapon systems on these cross members. Now I'm going to run up to this cross member and show you how I've done this. Now you can do the same thing with your solar panels as you could light armor, but I'm going to show you this right here, how this is done. As you see, these are feeding both of the Gatling guns on each end with ammunition. So you could actually build your entire tower out of this type of a setup. But instead, for demonstration purposes, I ran this a light armor as my electrical connection over here. Okay, your main thing is you have to be connected to your station where your batteries are. So that just gives us a thing here. What I have done here, this is 3 different types of setup that I've got laid out. This one here is set up primarily for left to right, and you can do it either way. You can also have the up and down over here as well. I call this the goalpost setup, and you would first of all get your tower to whatever height you think you need it to clear the rocks. If you're going to build more on the bottom, which I did not design this to have panels on the bottom. Now what you do is you lay an advanced rotor. This is a stock rotor. You don't have to have a mod for it. Just lay it down. Put you a single. Now if you did this quickly, if you did this using conveyor blocks, no big deal. Put your rotor right on top, weld it down, put another conveyor block right on top of it, weld it down, then put your sun sensor. It is I'm going to go back to my menu real quick to show it to you. It is the number 6 item. As you can see, I'm going to see if I can get it to where you can see it. It says Midspace's Experimental Solar Tracker. There is the workshop ID. It is just this one item with a built-in script. You don't need a programmable block or anything. You just need to properly name it to whatever you're going to do. As you see, what I did is I made a standoff. That is the pointing block, and these are the two standoff blocks. Let me get rid of that. 8 blocks over allows for 4 solar panels, and you can weld solar panels on 2 solar panels. Now, do the same over here. But what I'm going to show you, when you lay these systems down, and you're going to be using multiple rotors and multiple sensors to get you where you need to go, you need to do these one at a time. Now, for convenience, I install small control pads right under them so I can name everything quickly. We're going to look over here. First thing we're going to notice is we need to get a rotor. We need to rename that rotor to whatever you want to name it, but it must match whatever you put in the sun sensor. I named mine Rotor 1, Rotor 2, Rotor 3, etc. So once you've named Rotor 1 from Advanced Rotors to Rotor 1, you've got that done. Then you would come over here and go to Sun. The sensors are actually named Sun Sensor 1 or Sun Sensor. What you need to do is change that to Sun Sensor, and then whatever number I try to match them to the rotors that I have. So Sun Sensor number 1 space /AT open bracket rotor 1 close bracket. The instant that you hit the closed bracket, the script activates and it will start moving the rotor in the direction of the sun, which this one has already done. Now, like I said, you can have, if you have a sun that goes left to right all around you, you probably don't need the other up and down version. But I showed this as a demonstration anyway. You could have actually another 12 here, and if it was tall enough, you could have another 12 under it, and if it was high enough that it could make a 360 without hitting the rocks, you would be good to go. Now, another variant is using what I call the field goal setup, and I didn't make this field goal actually tall enough. I think I needed 3 more blocks or close to it to be able to put 12 and 12, and it still be able to clear that beam. At any time that you do this, you want to make sure that you have a minimum of 1 block spacing all the way across, so that way when it rotates it won't, and if it goes crazy, which of course Keen has been known to have rotors go on a tangent on their own. Now this one here, when I placed it, I named it rotor number 2. Notice it is not anything special to it. Drove out 8 light armor blocks, put a total of 8 solar panels above and below. On the other side, near the center of this beam, I placed another sun sensor. Go back over here. There it is right there. Just a sensor that has been modified to look for the sun and talk to the rotor, whatever rotor you name. So what I did over here is I also put another little control panel for simplicity's sake. Okay, we're going to look at it again. We're going to type in sun. We say, for instance, we've already renamed that rotor to rotor number 2. And then we need to name that one to sun sensor number 2. And once we add this last bracket right there, it will attempt to center on the sun. It'll tell that rotor, it'll manipulate the rotor to do whatever you need. Now, in the third example over here, I have shown where you could actually make a tower out of conveyor blocks. You could have it conveyor blocks all the way down and attach your rotor, like I did right here. There's a conveyor block right there, and it goes down to the other 5 below, or another 4 below it, and I added on oxygen tanks just to prove the concept. Now, you would name this rotor in the control block over there, rotor number 3. Then add on more conveyor blocks all the way across to wherever you were comfortable. And I added in oxygen farms. Since oxygen farms are pretty much oxygen being farmed but using like a solar panel, but I don't like them. They don't generate enough oxygen, and they don't do it very fast. But just in case you want to do this, this is the way it would be done. One of the ways it could be done. But you would lock the connector end on here onto your center, any oxygen produced would come down and go through the conveyor blocks down to those tanks right over there. Okay, what I did on this particular thing, I wanted to show you this because a lot of people don't realize it. You cannot connect oxygen farms end to end because they do not have connector ports. So it has to be done like this. And at the end, I added on a light armor block and then drew a line of them all the way around because you can't attach solar panels directly to the oxygen farms. So what I did here is I added 4 panels there, and you could do this any particular way you want. If you're going to do a solar panel setup, I recommend drawing it out. Graph paper works really good for that. Draw your idea out, figure out how many squares you need if you're going to do the dual goal post with the up, down, left, and right. It works really well. The solar panels are always pointed at the optimal position to the sun, and I have found that a 4 wide, 3 tall seems to be optimal for balance. And this right here could be done a different way as well, but I just wanted to show it as an example. But the recap, you can make it a left to right if that's how your sun goes, and if you have a sun that goes at an odd angle like so across the sky, you would want to set up a system similar to this. One that tracks left and right, and then this one here that tracks up and down. And it will, this sun sensor will point at the sun no matter where it is, even if it's on the other side of the planet. It will attempt to point directly at the sun the entire time. Now, your entire system must be connected to your batteries or whatever needs to be powered through it. And if you have any questions, leave them below in the comments. I wanted to give you this quick down and dirty how to set up a solar panel, or set up your solar panel, solar farm, or oxygen farms using the sunlight. And as you can see, one is pointing straight up and down, one is pointing slightly over my shoulder. To recap one more time, you must be connected to your station where your batteries are. So you can make your tower. You do not have to use armor blocks. You can use the conveyor blocks, or a combination of conveyor blocks and conveyor tubes like here. This tether is built of light armor as an outer case, and then the conveyor tubes usually run up to a small cargo container, and then these weapon systems are attached to conveyor blocks. They're sturdy. They're not as sturdy as armor, but they're sturdier than light armor, and they keep going up. And I'm not going all the way up to the tether because it's over, just still almost 2 kilometers away. But I do recommend the Azimuth Mega Mod Pack for the batteries and extra goodies in it. And I also recommend the Midspace's experimental solar tracker. As I said, does not require a block, does not require a programmable block or a timer. It does everything via its script. All you have to do is attach that sensor, and it'll do all the work for you. As you can see, they are slightly tilted. They were built left to right, square to that beam, and that they're now aimed at the sun. And then these here are also tilting toward the sun. And I wanted to show you here, whoops, let me turn my jetpack back on. If you haven't noticed, even though there's an asteroid in front of it, due to some kind of an odd bug in space engineers, these are technically getting 100% sunlight, even through the asteroids. Now, if you park a ship in front of them, they will not. Notice all of the oxygen farms are showing 100%, even though there's a big shadow from that asteroid right in front of us. They're showing 100% sunlight. So there you go. Questions, comments, whatever you need, give me a shout. This is Ater, also known as Paul 484847 on the Steam Workshop. And y'all have a good day. Hope this helps.